ham going on to the show, so I'll get you a price for that as soon as I get done about 8 o'clock.
And Scotty Wheels Racing. Your hosts, Chris and Pete, bring you the latest news and interviews in the world of sportsman drag racing, including bracket racing, association races, outlaw, and no-time events. We are live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take it away, boys. Are you looking for comprehensive solutions for your performance and automotive needs? Straight Line Performance and Automotive is a full-service auto repair shop specializing in race car fabrication, electrical design, chassis setup and alignment. Located in Hamden, Connecticut, they also specialize in aftermarket high performance and chassis upgrades. Be sure to look them up on Facebook at www.facebook.com/StreetLine, STR8LINE, Performance, Automotive, or give them a call at 203-415-5316. Scotty Wheels Racing is a veteran-owned and operated company that specializes in performance parts, installation, and tuning. They can build and design your chassis right at their shop in Hamden, Connecticut. They offer track and remote tuning for your electronic fuel injection and chassis. They are your one-stop shop, including brakes and suspension, chassis, engine parts, fuel systems, turbos, and accessories. They not only sell it, they race it on their own in-house race car. Be sure to check out their website at www.scottywheels.com or give them a call at 203-500-5995.
Hey, good evening, everybody. We almost got it right this time. I'll get it eventually. At least you got your whole ad played this time.
Yes, we're getting there. It's awesome.
We're getting there. Baby steps. We got like 6 weeks for the racing season. I might have it ready and figured out by then. You figure one can only hope.
Exactly.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Racers News Network Live. Myself, Chris, Scotty Mac. He's joining. He's having his dinner. So Pete is buried in the snow in Connecticut. I'm hoping that he has the little orange flag attached to his belt so he doesn't get lost in the snow. So
definitely buried in the snowdrift. Nobody will ever see him again.
Our guest tonight is going to be Tina Olszewski. She's a former mud racer, hill climber. She has taken the steps to get licensed at Frank Hawley's drag racing school and is going to be running some super comp this year. She wants to eventually get enough experience to step on up to top dragster. So she's going to join us about 7:15. We do finally have some results from Bradenton, but before we get into the results from Bradenton, we do have to kind of touch ever so briefly on the unfortunate accident that did happen at the top end Saturday night in Bradenton. A track employee did lose his life in an accident. Scotty, you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so a buddy of mine Paul Major was driving his car in Pro 275 and throttle stuck. And this track worker Chaps, who I don't know personally, but a lot of my friends at race they do, Paul Major was driving his car. He's in charge of basically telling people when they can, at the end of the track at Bradenton is where you cross over from one side to the other, as far as, walking, or if your rig or whatever, that's where you cross. So he was in charge, from what I understand, of when people can cross and when they can't. So he's at the end of the track. And unfortunately, they're saying that the car struck him and he unfortunately passed away. So, they took up a collection at the race, as you know. One of the racers that I do know about, he donated his entire purse from the winner in no time. Mike Stavarinos is his name. So he won the Florida no time race and won $5,000 and basically donated his entire winning check to the family, to Chaps's family. So the racing community came together. It was, obviously a sad day. I know a lot of people didn't get sleep that night. I know Lee was talking when he was announcing the race that, him and Brian didn't get a lot of sleep that night after that happened. So it's, it's a tragedy, 100%.
Absolutely, it is. And I believe it's on Wednesday. They're going to be having a memorial service at the track for Chaps. So yeah, definitely not the way to kick off 2021 racing.
Right.
So, but moving on.
Yep. So the race did go on. There were a lot of records broken down there. I mean, I know that Jimmy had the track on point. I know Wade was there. I know Jimmy was there from Sticky Mafia. And I know that seemed like both lanes were equal. You saw a lot of blower cars coming out of the hood, blowers coming out of the hood that would usually take left lane. If the left lane was better, taking right lane just so they could see the tree. You know what I mean? Like you didn't see one lane really favoring the other. I mean, the track seemed to really be on point.
And we do have all the results. Oh, I'm eating a cookie.
All right, well, you eat your cookie and I'll start. So Pro Mod, winner of Pro Mod, the final was Jim Halsey, who owns Cecil, was racing Todd Tutterow. And I know, a lot of NHRA guys are going to know Todd Tutterow's name. He runs Pro Mod NHRA. He also runs PDRA, I believe. So Halsey won on a hole shot. He went 362, 207 to Tutterow's 361 at 206. So Halsey, I mean, it's hard to find people that work harder than Halsey does when it comes to testing. I mean, he's got his own track in his backyard. So, I mean, he wins on a hole shot. Radio versus the World, we had Brian Markowitz in the final against Dan Ray. Both of these guys, I think Markowitz was like number 6 and Dan Ray maybe was qualified like number 12, I think. Markowitz went a 9. Now they're on a 315 radio with no bars, just so it kind of explaining it to the NHRA guys. So no bars on a 315 radio. He went 9.12 60 foot. He went 956 at 205 to take the win. Dan Ray went 360 at 204. Actually, Dan Ray went red, 0.004 red. So he went fourth out red.
Yeah.
Pro 275 was Mark Mickey, who everybody knows he owns Mickey Transmissions. He ended up racing Ziff Hudson. Now he's got a conventional headed big block, which a lot of these guys don't run, but he went on a 275, went 381 at 203, actually flying. But there was a record set in qualifying. Manny Bojinga, in the second round of qualifying, went 372 at 202. So 372 is the new record, the world record for Pro 275, which is basically similar setups to Radio versus the World. So you've got, race cam Hemis from Proline, twin turbo. Manny's is a Hemi from Proline with a Pro Charger. But they're on a 275 radial tire, which is, I mean, these guys are going, 960 60 foots on a 275 radial, which is, it's kind of crazy.
This is pretty freaking amazing.
Right. So the X275, now this was interesting. So X275 is a class that I ran for 5 years. You have Rob Goss winning X275 with a 419 at 170. Now, the difference between X275 and Pro 275, X275, you're limited on what heads you can have, what size Pro Charger you can have, what size turbo. Like it's got to be like 88 millimeters, the largest turbo you can run. Pro Charger, I'm not sure what the Pro Charger size is, but needless to say, 2 of the cars in the semis were 2JZ motors. Now 2JZ comes in a Toyota Supra. They're 6 cylinders.
Yep.
So Eric LaFerriere, who's from Rhode Island up here, and Eric, he hangs out tunes a lot of cars in New England Dragway. He was in the final rate. He was driving White Rice, which is a 240 SX. So he raced Rob Goss in the finals. He went red, but it was if he had run it out, it was a 419.5 to a 419.7 in the final.
Wow.
Goss went 170 and LaFerriere went 178 in that 2JZ. So that's X275. LDR, which is limited drag radial. Shane Stack over Justin Cernick, 401 at 186 over 397 at 192. He, again, on the tree. These guys are cutting lights on these, 0.00. I think he was 0.004. So he was 4th good, green, which is cutting it pretty close. And then Ultra Street, you had Dave Fiscus win. Now, it's another funny story. Dave Fiscus has a Mustang with a Grand National motor in it. Obviously, it's a built Grand National motor with a 76 millimeter turbo. And he won in the finals. He was a number 13 qualifier. He went 452 with a 2 at 152.55 miles an hour. And he raced, I don't know who he raced, but he was a number 6 qualifier that he raced. But it's just crazy how you have some classes here like X and Ultra with 2 JZs and Dave having a Buick V6 and making it all the way to the finals. So
Right.
It was a great showing, a lot of fast times, a lot of guys breaking some records. It was an impressive weekend, and it was hard. I know for a lot of them that I talked to, a lot of these guys that I'm friends with, it was hard to take a lot of joy in the win with what happened to Chaps and stuff. Like it was hard to celebrate. It was kind of a, bittersweet, the end. So
Yeah.
but pretty crazy. Did you have the No Time winner? I know I mentioned he had donated his pot.
Yeah. Mike Stavarinos
Yep.
won No Time. And then Heavy Street was Rick Prospero over Jimmy Stanley. I don't have the ETs for either of those. And I only got part of the other competitor's last name in No Time. But like I said, that was Mike Stavarinos over Johnson is all it said.
Yep. So, they had a great turnout. It was, there was 40 pro mods on the property. So, that when it comes, and they didn't have any, it's Florida, so they didn't have any restrictions.
Right.
So for them to be able to have that kind of turnout, it was impressive. It was very, very well done.
They also, and then coming up this weekend, because our mutual friend Freddie Perkins is already in line for Orlando.
I saw him post.
Yeah, he's down there. He's down there with the Nova, at Orlando for the divisional this coming weekend. He's got the Nova and the Dragster.
Yep.
So living the life
He's
down
living
there.
the life. I know. I want to be him when I grow up.
I know, me too. I just want to grow up, and I'm sure my wife wants to do it too. So, yeah. So we can call the race season kicked off. The Rolex 24 was this weekend. Bradenton was this weekend. The first divisional comes up in just a matter of days, and to see what happens. The West Coast isn't looking so hot right now. There was another event canceled, and
now my question is the only place, so you can watch all these small tire races, and then a lot of the big money bracket races that you can watch are on this Flow Racing, right? The one I was telling you about.
yes.
So Flow, they have not only small tire stuff, they have all the big bracket races. They have all kinds of races. But if you want to see a divisional, are those covered at all?
They are starting to do it this year. Division 1, my buddy Rob Jackson started D1 TV
Yep.
last year, and in cooperation with NHRA Division One. And then for, I don't know exactly how many years it's been around, but it's been around for a long time, was D3 TV. Now it's kind of switched over to where basically NHRA has that live stream.
Well, I've seen you could buy the NHRA one, but that's only for the large events, right?
Right. But starting this year, they're going to be doing, as they put it, select Lucas Oil races.
Okay.
I haven't seen a schedule. That doesn't mean it's not out of which ones they're going to cover, or if they even know yet. So, but to answer your question, yes, there is going to be some kind of coverage available.
Great. Good.
So just a matter of what and when.
Yeah. I mean, I just think, for a lot of the people that can't leave home or don't want to leave home, for them to be able to, promoting our sport, to only have it on pay-per-view is kind of tough.
Right. And then the other thing too is that NHRA has stated that they don't want to have a national event without an audience, a live in-person audience.
Right.
So again, I mean, my understanding is the West Coast is in a little bit of trouble. Whether that changes, to be seen. It seems like, from what little I read the news, it seems like California is the most restricted state right now.
So Fox Sports is still going to carry a portion probably of the NHRA races, right?
Correct.
Just not the whole thing, which is when you could buy NHRA TV.
Correct. They're going to do the national events is going to be on Fox.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah. So like I said, it just, I don't know. It's kind of screwy. So it's a wait and see proposition. I mean, I've heard, again, complete hearsay, no facts to back it up, that Seattle's in trouble, the national event. Pomona could be in trouble for a national event. Las Vegas could be in trouble for a national event. Obviously, they've already lost the one in Arizona that got pulled, week and a half ago, whatever.
Right.
And, I've been asking around my friends that live down in the Pennsylvania area, as of right now, there's a lot of restrictions in Pennsylvania. So, granted, we're months away from the national event here in New England, and down at, Maple Grove, who knows?
I mean, I hope they open up. I mean, Maple is probably one of the nicest tracks I've ever been to.
Right.
It's just gorgeous.
Luckily in New Hampshire, we don't have yet, hopefully we won't have a lot of restrictions other than the mask mandate, which I don't really care for personally, but that's just my opinion. So I had to wear it at work. So, but let's see, let's give Tina a minute to get. Tina, can you hear me? You're muted.
Bottom left of your screen.
Yeah, bottom left of your screen it'll say it. Have a little microphone. Scott's a professional at the muting because he does it to himself all
I
the
do it
time.
all the time.
All right, we got this.
There you go. Hello.
Hi.
So I would like to introduce Tina Olszewski. She's our guest for tonight. She's a former mud racer, hill climber. She's done some circle track stuff. First, introduce you to my co-host for the night, Scott McDonald. He's also from the great state of Connecticut.
Hi, Scott.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
We have a search and rescue team out looking for Pete Sanka because we don't think he has his bright orange flag on to make sure he doesn't get lost in the snow.
I mean, there's 2 feet of snow.
He's only a town over. I could go look for him.
There you go. So I had the pleasure of meeting Tina a couple of years ago. She was on our old show on Wheels Up Radio when we did that. She was big into the mud racing scene, and then decided to make a little bit of a change. And wow, I can see the snow out the window of your garage.
Listen,
Yeah.
they came and plowed me, and you can't even tell they came to my driveway.
Well, I'm so lucky it's heading my way. Woohoo. So anyways, you decided to make a change. You got licensed through Frank Holly and you wanted to go race on the pavement. So what made you decide it was time to do something different?
I started off in circle track when I was a teenager and got out of that and got into hill climbs and sand drags when I met my now husband, who was already doing it. So that's been over 30 years I've been involved in the four-wheel drive. And my dream has always been to do NHRA. It's just been a dream that I never thought was actually attainable. And since about 2-3 years ago, a lot of the four-wheel drive events that we do, the high performance events and things like that, they're all way out west now. There's really nothing local for us anymore. The least amount of time we can travel right now to get to a show is 9 hours one way. And it's just not feasible anymore for us to have that much money tied up into 2 sand drag cars. And, my husband has one of his own, and I'm not getting seat time anymore. It's just basically sitting. So I decided to make the jump, and I went in both feet. I actually bought a top dragster before I even went to school.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. So
why not?
now, like I said, you went to Frank Hawley's drag racing school. Which track did you go and get licensed at?
Maple Grove.
At Maple Grove?
Yeah, it was amazing.
It's a
It was
beautiful
amazing.
track.
My first time ever sitting in a dragster, my first time ever starting a dragster, and I just went for it. I had nothing to lose.
Cool. Now tell us a little bit about the car that you bought.
I bought an American chassis car. It's got a 632 in it with nitrous, and it's 245 inches long. It's got a hell of a lot more switches in it than my mud car ever had, but I'm learning them. So I'll be making my first ride down the track in it April 17th at Lebanon Valley.
Nice.
Yeah.
And now top dragster, that's quarter mile, correct?
Yeah. I'm going to start off in super comp though. I'm not going to hook up the nitrous. I'm not going to, I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. I want to get my feet wet. I want to go at my own pace. Everybody says that I'm experienced and, but it's 2 totally different.
It's different.
I'm sure I'll carry a little bit over with me, but it's totally different. And after going down the track in Frank Hawley's cars, it definitely is totally different. With a mud car, you got to muscle that thing and be on your game and, just totally getting bounced around. With the drag car, it's all, fingers. It was amazing to me how little that car has to be steered.
Right. Yeah, like you said, you got to play around with a lot more buttons. You've got and all the other electronics that go along with running super comp as well. Now, did you buy? Is it all set up already with the throttle stop and everything, or is that something you guys got to install yourselves?
It's all ready to go. She's sitting in the trailer, so she's ready to roll. I'm just going getting my bearings. I had a couple. I got to tell you, being new. Not new to the sport, but new as a driver and a competitor. I had so many people, once they found out I bought a car, competitors in my class or even not in the class, Facebook me, text me, want to take me under their wing and show me the ropes and show me the secrets and teach me. And I can't believe how amazing it is. I don't feel like I'm leaving any mud family. I'm moving into, even more family now. I'm adding to my family. So it's really kind of cool how generous everybody's being.
Cool. We've been kind of, since we restarted the show on January 4th, excuse me, we've been kind of educating Scotty a little bit about the .90 stuff because, as you well know, Peter is a .90 racer himself in Super Street and occasionally Super Gas. Scott races radial stuff, the Outlaw, the X275, No Time, No Prep, stuff like that. So we've been kind of schooling, well, more so Pete than me, but I know a little bit,
You probably know more than me right now.
I wouldn't go that far. I do know that it's a top end race type of a race.
Yes, that's I know.
One thing. Yeah. So like I said, we've been kind of messing with Scott a little bit about it. So
I'm learning, you know.
yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm learning too. I feel like a fish out of water right now because I don't know any of the terms, any of what, everybody's talking about, but you bring me back to my other car and it's like I could tell you inside and out everything. And so I'm not used to have anything that's not second nature yet.
So
Right.
was your sand dragster, your sand racers,
Uh-huh.
they're not dialing, right? They're like heads up racing type
Right.
stuff?
It's heads up or you're running the clock.
Right. So if you're that kind of racer, I can guarantee you're going to get into a car with a throttle stop and you're going to go, all right, I don't want to do the throttle stop. I want to just put my foot to the floor. I want a 60 foot, 105, and I want to run a dial-in at the end of the track. That's just me coming from when I give Pete all the credit in the world, like how he does the throttle stop stuff and figuring out. But like if you've done like that heads up, put your pedal, your foot to the floor and just feel
Right.
that acceleration.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you're gonna, yeah. Yep.
Well, I actually, when I started sand drag racing, I actually started in the bracket category,
Yep.
so dialing in and all that other stuff. But
Yeah.
there again, it was quite a few years ago. The throttle stop actually has me pretty intrigued. I'm actually looking forward to that dull moment and then the thrust. You know what I mean? It just I don't know what it is about it. It's probably the unknown about it, but
It is.
and then yes, I can't wait to just go flat out and yeah, that's in me. I can't help myself with that.
And definitely the science, like we talk about that, right, Chris, is about the science of the .90 guys. Like their races are within inches of each other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Easy.
That's the thing that really intrigued me when I see Pete do it it all comes down to 3 or 4 inches at the end of the track.
Mhm. I'm excited for that actually. I like not knowing at the end if I won or lost.
Yeah.
I do. I really like that. It makes it more fun.
Yep.
Very cool. Yeah. The very first time I took my wife to the drag races and the .90 cars were running, she asked me, she goes, why do they jump right off the line and then die
Yep.
and then go again? I said, all right. I said, the most uncomplicated way to explain this to you is I said, I'm going to bring you to the top end.
Mhm.
So we went down, we stood at the fence right directly in front of, the finish line. And I said, all right. And it happened to be Super Comp that was running. And I said, watch their heads when they come by.
Yeah.
As they're coming down from about, roughly the 8th. I said, all you're going to see is they're going to be turning like this, looking at each other, and
Yep. That's the part that freaks me out because I'm not used to doing that. I'm used to being focused straight ahead and,
Well, that's why being in a dragster with the big tires on it, you can do that because your steering is so delicate now. It's so it corrects so easy.
It's going to
absolutely
be fun.
it is. So schedule wise, are you just going to run like a weekly track thing? Are you going to try some divisionals this year? Or?
I'm going for it. I'm going April 17th to the track. I got to get the chassis recertified. So I have my appointment for that. And then I'm just going to jump in the car and start going. And no, I'm not going to skip anything. If there's a chance for me to get some seat time, I'm doing it. I want to go and I want to travel. I want to be able to do Epping and I want to be able to do Maple Grove and maybe Maryland and, not get stuck at just one place. I want to experience the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
I highly recommend from somebody that's been to some of their events and talked to the gentleman that runs the series, check out the .90 Association.
Okay.
Yeah. Rob Keister's got an awesome program. The Mid-Atlantic .90 Association, they run Super Comp, Super Street, Super Gas all together in one weekend. Obviously, each class is separated, but lot of great racing, a lot of great racers.
I'm definitely going to take you up on that. Definitely. Yeah.
And they're gonna, they're having a big event at Maple Grove in August. I don't have the date right in front of me, unfortunately. I want to say it's like August 20th through the 22nd or 21st through the 23rd, something like that.
Okay. I'll check everything out.
Yeah. So sponsors.
Sponsors. Well, I can tell you one thing. When I tell people I run an NHRA dragster now, they know what it is. When I tell them I run a sand dragster, they look at me like I got 4 eyes. And not racing around here, you know, it's difficult to get sponsors for, you know, sand drags.
Right.
I actually got my first sponsor. It's a small family company, but his name's going to be on the side of my car. It's Mr. B's Jerky out of Southington. All homemade beef jerkies and mustards and seasonings. And
Awesome.
we met up and made it work. And he's going to be on the side of my car and on my t-shirt. And I mean, I was very honored for that. It's an honor to have somebody want to help, you know, be on your car, you know, and he knows this is my first year and he's just as excited as I am. So it's really cool.
Cool. I just got clarification on the date for the event at Maple Grove for Mid-Atlantic.90. August 27th through the 29th, and their website is midatlantic90.org.
Okay. I'll
And-
definitely check that out.
Pete, you're safe. We were very worried
They
about
find
you.
you in a snowbank, Pete?
I heard some .90 stuff going on. I'm like, I gotta go outside, hook up the wires, and get in on this Zoom meeting.
Well, we were obviously very concerned, and we wanted to know if you had your bright orange flag on you so you wouldn't get lost in the
I
snowbank.
wear a little antenna on top of my hat so people can see me. Hi, Tina. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you? You done shoveling?
Snow blowing. Yeah.
So you probably heard the conversation a little bit, Pete. So why don't you chime in and with Tina?
I actually, the only part that I heard, excuse me, was how you're looking forward to using the throttle stop and how it intrigues you.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I will tell you that throttle stop racing on the starting line is boring as hell to watch. If you're gonna watch it, it goes from the most boringest thing in the world to the most exciting thing in the world at the other end of the track.
Yeah.
That's where all the magic happens down there. The biggest thrill for me is figuring stuff out. I've had a lot of conversations with Scott about what I know about throttle stop stuff, and by no means am I an expert at it. But it is a science project and it's a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
you're definitely not going to get bored figuring stuff out. That's for sure.
No, everything's brand new. Like I said, I know my other stuff inside and out, my other car, you know, my sand drag car, all the terminology, all the calculations. You know, I could tell you what jet to run with the weather. This is just boom, new school. You know, I just got a open mind and, you know, I'm just going to do it. But, you know, I got nothing to lose and it's something I've always wanted to do. And, you know, like I said earlier, I'm not out to prove myself to anybody. It's just my own thing and I'm going to go at my own pace, but I'm not going to miss a shot at getting in the car. That's for sure.
Well, the good news is you've already been faster in sand than a lot of people have been on blacktop. So you already have one leg up on it. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
what did those run? What did your sand cars run? Like, how was it? How was it? 8 mile or 330? Like, what was
300 feet.
Yep.
So 300 feet, just like NHRA, you know, the tree, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
I've run 3.1 seconds in 300 feet.
So Pete, you know what that tells? So Pete, think about this. Pete, my X275 car went 299 in the 330. So only 30 more feet.
Right.
And we went 440, 165. So that thing is accelerating like crazy.
No traction compound.
Right, nothing,
No,
just
no
sand.
burnout. No sticky
No.
Great.
Oh my God.
And that's foot braking it too.
Oh my God.
I run it's a 2,700 horsepower on a mild tune-up, blown injected alcohol motor. So
Oh
it's got a Whipple on it. You know, you can't see unless the front end's in the air type car. And yeah, it's just the torque and everything is just a rush and a half. And everybody said to me, I'm going to be bored going to dragsters because, you know, the horsepower. I'm like, no, you don't understand. We're womp and we're done, you know. This is the long. And when I went to Frank Hawley school and got in the car and went 156 miles an hour, I was beside myself.
Really?
I was like, first of all, it felt forever. But when I saw the slip at I was like, oh, I got to keep going.
Well, see, that's where you're going to have the advantage, because if it feels like it took a long time to you, that's going to give you plenty of opportunity to acclimate yourself as to where you are on the track, where your opponent is. Like I said, you've already got a good leg up on it because
Thank
you're
you.
used to the G forces and the speed. You'll be
Yeah.
just fine.
But Pete,
Thank you.
do you
I
think
plan on looking you up at the track too, by the way.
Well, the good news is we
can't
can
miss
talk
them.
crap to each other all we want. We don't run in the same class, so it's fine.
Pete, you think what I asked before is, being that she went that fast, do you think, I know she wants to run top dragster down the
Yes.
road.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Do you think she'll miss that initial feeling in a throttle stop?
I did hear you make a comment about you're excited to feel the car come on the throttle stop and then go off.
Yeah.
I will tell you that your sensation of G forces, I guarantee you, are much more exciting in the sand drags.
Yeah.
It's like my personal car. I don't know how you're going to have yours set up. My personal car goes out about 10 feet, goes on the throttle stop, and instantly goes into high gear. So when I come off of the throttle stop, it's already in high gear, and the converter is slipping away for probably 200 or 300 feet. Then it starts catching up to itself and pulling. I don't know what kind of setup you're going to have if you're going to come off in low gear or high gear, but for me, all the thrill of throttle stop racing is what happens between 1,000 foot and a 1320, and all the stuff that happens before you pull into the burnout box. The first half of the track is the least. Let me rephrase that. The first half of the track is the least exciting part of the whole scenario.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it's not exciting,
Right.
but it's the least exciting for me. Concentrating on the tree, letting go of the button,
Yep.
and then hoping that everything you did before the burnout box is going to work out at the other end of the track.
Right. Right.
And that's
The unknown.
yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
the amount of data you guys use that's what intrigues me when you talk about your throttle stop. So, and she'll learn that, is seeing the amount of data that you all take and put into this, basically into your throttle stop, like everything that you take in.
Into the timer, correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
It's
mind-boggling.
It's funny, Tina, because you're going to run into, when you start telling people what you're doing. I have people ask me all the time, what does your car run flat out? And my car will go like 890 flat out. And they're like, oh, so you're running 1090. So that means you just put 2 seconds in the throttle stop timer.
Mm.
Like, oh, yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's
I have no idea. And how many people think that when you come off the starting line and you go on the throttle stop, that it just goes down to idle?
Right.
There are some exceptions, like Jason Lawrence that's watching us right now. But for the most part, that's usually not what is
Right.
conventional. There is so much to it. Checking your cruise RPM and making sure it doesn't vary the whole time you're on the stop, and weather, and
Well, and then you
Yeah.
went fuel injected. Then if you're fuel injected, you're talking about fuel trims and coming off the throttle stop. Is it going fat? Is it leaning out?
yeah. Do you want it leaner when it's on the cruise? Do you want it richer when it's on the cruise? What do you do with timing? It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy. I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. I'm excited to learn it all and to get back to the trailer and actually go through it all. With the mud racing and stuff, we in the sand drags, we get back to the trailer and it's basically, I run a centrifugal clutch in that car. So,
Yep.
we adjust the clutches, check the valves, check the fuel, make sure everything was burning correctly,
Right.
make any changes, and then we're done, we're waiting. But I'm excited to go back to the trailer with the dragster and learn and all these ins and outs. And there's so much to learn. And I know I'm never going to learn it all, but I always like to learn. So this is a great challenge for me, to come in and be new.
Instead of figuring out your clutch and all that stuff, you're going to be looking at the weather and how it affected your run. You're going to be checking out your data logger and seeing what it did the whole trip down the track. You're still going to be just as busy. It's just going to be probably a little less grease under your fingernails than
That'll be
or I
nice.
should say sand.
Yeah, that would be nice.
What kind of power? And if you already went over this, just tell me to shut up. But
It's
what kind of power are you going to have in the Super Comp car?
the Super Comp car has a 632 in it with nitrous. So the gentleman I bought it from said it runs 6.0s. So what we did was, you know, because it's for top dragster basically, but what we did was we bumped it back to 750s for me to play with.
Sure.
You know, considering Frank Hawley school went so good, and you know, I was ready for more. You know, they figured we'll start you. You know, my husband and the guys helping, they're like, we'll start you at 750, and I'm like, well, don't hold me there because you know I'm gonna be out of there. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm excited, but I'm gonna do it right. I'm not gonna go out there and be this showboat. That's not who I am. You know, I want to go out and do my best. And when I come back, it's about how did I feel, not about what everybody else feels, you know?
Right.
So I'm really excited and listening
Are
to
you going to dabble in top dragster this year, or is it going to be strictly Super Comp all year?
You know, it's funny because
See, I knew
I
that.
already got my
I knew these answers already. Pete, why did we even bring up dot 90?
Never mind.
let's just say I don't plan on staying in Super Comp for long.
See?
But
Will you at least make
Hey!
one advance?
I want to go fast, and I want to use the car to its ability. So knowing that the car is built for that and me holding it back, that's a crutch for me.
Right.
You know, and I've never not used anything I've owned to its maximum and then some. So I know I got to learn. I'm not going to go rushing that part of it. But when I have a couple people at the track that offer to mentor me that I really look up to, and when they think I'm ready and I think I'm ready, I'm going to go for my top dragster license right then and there.
Nice. So basically, you're going to switch tech cards at the first event, is what you're saying.
When they tell me just do a burnout, don't think I'm going to just do a burnout.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
Good for you.
It's not in me.
It's awesome.
So for those people who've never had the chance to go to a Frank Hawley school, why don't you talk a little bit about that, especially being a first timer?
Well, let me tell you, if I had known 30 years ago what I was going to learn this last summer, even in sand drag race, then I would have went just for the classroom time. He is an amazing teacher. He teaches you how to be outside of the car just as much inside of the car. That was worth every cent. You know, like I said, I never even sat in a dragster before going to Frank Hawley. I just was going for it. And of course, they made me go first out of the whole class, which thank you. But it was awesome. It was like my body was doing the right motions without my brain thinking about it. And I never even got in that car before. So, you know, after the class was all done and over, after the 2 days, I went back to my RV and I said to my husband, I know I could do this because I was doing it automatically. Everything was happening automatically for me. You know, and then when I went, you know, my qualifying pass at or my final licensing pass was 156 miles an hour, and I didn't lift and I wasn't scared, and it was, that's it. We got this. We're going forward now. But Frank Hawley he's a patient man, boy. I'll tell you, he takes a lot from people that probably shouldn't be there or shouldn't be on the track, you know, but his teaching skills are absolutely phenomenal, and he knows how to correct you without insulting you. So I recommend it to everybody, even experienced racers. It's amazing. I got to be honest with you. I have a 17-year-old niece who lives with me, and she wants to get her license after she graduates from high school, and we're going to send her to school, and I'm going to actually sit in the classroom again and learn it again, because there's so much taking it up. You know, it was just so amazing to me what I learned that I didn't know. And I've been racing so many years in a high power car that, wow, he teaches you how to breathe. He teaches you how to focus. It's just, he teaches you how to feel the car you're in, not necessarily just a dragster. Right. So I was thrilled to all get out when I left that school, and, you know, what I learned on top of having my license. But I would recommend it to everybody. It's amazing.
And now you can pick dragster or a door car, correct?
Yes, that is correct. He had the door cars there and the dragsters, the super comps. So, you know, I think there was only 3 of us in the class doing dragster. Yeah, I think 3 of us. And of course, me being the only female, they were like, hey, we'll put Tina first. So I'm like, that's all right, I'm used to that. Let's do it. You know, and everybody was just supportive of everybody. And his whole school, you get the same guy strapping you in the car every single time. So he knows you, he knows what you're comfortable in. You know, it's just so smooth. The whole thing was just so smooth.
Now you had to bring your own safety gear, or do they provide it?
They provide everything. The only thing I did bring was my shoes, because they tell you to wear comfortable sneakers or shoes. Well, I can't race unless I'm in my racing shoes.
Right.
I feel the throttle. I feel everything through my feet with that. So I did wear my own shoes. You know, you could wear your own stuff if you wanted to, but I wear a SFI 20 fire suit in the dirt car.
Wow.
And
Really?
yeah, and that's what I'll be wearing because I had it recertified. So it's like they're telling me I'm like 10 times more than what I need to be, but
Right.
I'm comfortable in it. But don't get me wrong, I took the class in August and I was smart. I said, I ain't wearing my suit, I'm gonna wear your suit.
Right.
So,
You must have felt like you were in your pajamas wearing the Super
it
Cub
was, I was like, I can move.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Now that you're licensed and you have your car and everything, did you make any changes to your personal safety equipment?
Yeah, same fire suit, same shoes, obviously new helmet because I got to have the SFI 20. I am going from an R3 restraint system, neck collar system that I wore in the mud car to a next gen. A lot of people could track, like I said, were really friendly. I got to try on their helmets and their devices, and I really like the next gen collar. It was nice and light. It fit nice. It stays on your helmet. That's the other thing. I could strap myself in. In the sand car, there's 3 guys. There's 2 strapping me in and 1 starting the motor. You know, so this is going to be like a holiday, I think.
Culture shock, yeah.
So the only thing is I'll be sweating a little more than anybody else, but I don't care. I don't care. But that's the only change I made was really the collar. I mean, I ordered the same style helmet that I'm comfortable in. But the collar is the only thing I really did a change with.
Cool. Well, very good. Well, it's awesome to welcome you to the other side of the racing universe. And we really look forward to seeing you at the track this summer, because I mean, I'll be at New England, I'll be at Lebanon Valley, and hopefully if everything works out, I'll be down at Maple Grove for the special event in August. And I usually follow the ball guy around, so the other,
And I'm usually parked next to the ball guy.
yeah, I should say the other ball guy. The other ball guy and the balding guy.
There you go.
All roads lead to the bald guy, I guess, huh?
Right there, baby. All right, Tina. Well, listen, if you got to drive home, please drive carefully.
Yeah.
It looks like it's snowing like crazy out your window. So
Yeah, I want to thank my boss where I work, Cerritos Auto Sales here in Wallingford.
Are you right next to
This is
Rose's
my
Deli?
office. This is actually my office at work with
You're
all the
literally-
cars in it.
You're literally 2 miles away from my house.
Yeah.
I know, I looked you up.
Is that right next to Rose's Deli? Is it Rose's Deli?
Yep, just down the street.
Yep.
Yep, so he was kind enough to stay tonight and let me use my office as a backdrop here with all his street rods.
Nice.
And yeah, it's like the Wallingford Gas Monkey, but better.
Exactly.
We're nice.
Good stuff. Go
All
over to
right,
Hard
Tina.
Hat and grab a couple of wings before you go home.
There you
go.
go. There
Yeah.
you go.
all right, Tina. Well, thanks for coming on, hanging out, and we will definitely come visit you at the track this summer.
Thank you, guys. I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
See you later.
All right.
Good to meet you.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Well, welcome, Peter.
How are you, gentlemen?
Good.
Did you play Scotty's commercial for him yet?
Yeah.
Pete,
Yeah.
why'd you have to say wings? Why?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm just saying that you went like 100 calories over your diet, right?
Uh,
Well, before we went on, he
You're
was
good,
eating
though.
his
Thanks
dinner,
for-
and all he kept saying was, "This diet sucks. This diet sucks."
Yep.
As I'm sitting here drinking a Coke and eating a chocolate chip cookie.
I just had a Jello pudding pop. was good.
So I realize the answer is probably no, but do you have any .90 stuff?
You are correct. The answer is no.
That's all right.
I'm still waiting for the gentleman to get back to me about Division 2, and I'm just going to start with Division 3 if I can't get any more info. Rob gave me his stuff. Kenny Van Gorder from the Northeast Super Street gave me his schedule. We already announced both of those. So if Division 2 doesn't give me anything else, I'm just going to move on to Division 3 next week.
Sounds like a plan. One of the things that we've gotten into doing that I enjoy, because I like to hear comments, is we've run a couple of polls on our Facebook page. One of the ones that I recently did that I talked to Pete about it, he goes, I didn't think you were going to get many or any responses about it.
Which one?
If you as a racer or fan could offer tips to the tracks you attend, what would it be to make the experience better? Or feel free to add your thoughts in the comments. Actually got a lot of comments, but not as many comments as votes.
We have a accessible bathroom and shower.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for this summer now. So let me just run down this real quick. So 53 votes for plug-in power for tents and RVs, like they have at New Hampshire. They have that at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. You pay, it's like $30 for the weekend or something. I don't remember the exact price, for the amateur stuff, for, SCCA and the driving clubs and stuff like that. So 53 votes for plug-in power for tents and RVs. 39 votes for showers. 26 votes for keep the restaurant / snack bar open later. And 8 votes for sell random things, such as, water, soap, regular pump gas for generators, and, diesel, stuff like that. It went a lot better than I thought it was going to, and I'm going to kind of expand on it a little bit. And I think what I want to do is I want to do a track by track, but with the caveat in the poll that it does not and will not become a bash session. If it becomes a bash session, we'll nuke the person who starts the bashing. We're not going to get rid of the poll because we want the info. We'll just blast the person that started smashing on the track. I think that's fair.
You're looking to see what can make stuff better, not pissing and moaning about what you have.
Right.
Right.
And you would think keeping the snack bar open longer would be a win-win for the track. You would think.
Right.
That kind of goes along the same lines as what we thought about contingency stuff versus when the gentleman actually came on here and told us what goes on.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, and nothing bad against Howie Commander up at Lebanon Valley. Obviously, he has a great track there, great management running it. But I guarantee you, if there was any chance of him making money and having it profitable, he would keep the concessions open as long as possible. I'm sure there definitely gets a point where staffing people and paying and having the stuff out and cooked, the profit starts to go downhill after a certain hour.
Right.
Obviously, depending on the event.
Like 1 hour prior to race being over or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I shut down every normal Sunday bracket race. We shut down at 3, and this is why, because I've stayed open till 5, and I've only sold $100 worth of stuff between 3 and 5, but it cost me $300 to have it open.
Right.
I'm sure there's reasons. What I like is if they could do stuff that could only make them profit, and they don't have to worry about it being an added expense. Like, I love the idea of being able to pay a couple extra bucks and plug my motorhome in versus run the generator. But with the year that was 2020 and all the tracks closing all over the place, the last thing they're going to do is trench up the ground and put
Yeah.
in $500,000 worth of electrical panels
Right.
so that we could pay $25 a weekend and plug in.
Right.
Someone had mentioned something about food trucks. And I don't know what food trucks pay or what you get out of it, but to me, again, not knowing the inner workings, it would be a win-win. If the food truck pays X amount of dollars to be there, and then the liability isn't on track owner or management for
Right.
wasted food, employees, whatever. And it gives another variety. I wouldn't want a food truck there selling burgers if I sold burgers, but a food truck there selling tacos
Yeah.
while you're selling burgers would probably be pretty cool.
Or even like a parts, like like Moroso or something, or
That's
something
a
like that.
big one. That is something that I would, if I was a track owner, I probably wouldn't do a damn thing because I don't know what track owners go through. But if I was a track owner with free time on my hand, I would figure out how to get people there to sell stuff. Even if you don't profit from it, if I'm going to go somewhere testing, okay, and I know that at this one track, they're going to have parts where if I need something, I can get them. And at one track, there's nothing. If all things being equal, I'm going to pick the track that I have my best chance at racing the day in case something happens. I mean, it just makes sense to me.
Let me back up here just a little bit. Actually, Wayne from Lebanon Valley jumped in and commented, and his comment was, yes, that's right on point. And that was when you were talking, Pete, about, the cost versus.
Right.
So
Listen, the track people are there to make money. They have it figured out when it's profitable and when it's not. They're not going to say, screw it, I'm closing, I'm not selling any more cheeseburgers after 3 because I'm lazy and I don't want to do it. Yeah, they have it figured out when they sell the most and when they get the most bang for their buck, I'm sure.
Right.
Well, it's even like, Pete, at my event we had at Lebanon, they ended up extending the hours because of the crowds.
Right.
So I guess
right.
they can kind of change it on the fly. You know what I mean? So
I'm sure if they normally close at 3, but you have 5,000 people in the stands and you have a line out of the concessions,
right.
They're not going to say, "Oh, sorry, it's 3. We're going to close."
Yeah.
Right.
They're there to make money, just like we're there to spend it. So.
Another comment from Carol Viscone from, everybody knows Carol's from Lebanon Valley. Lebanon Valley, they do have a small speed shop in the office and other parts are available.
Ooh, I did not know that.
So that's something that should be maybe promoted more.
Absolutely. Yeah, because obviously the regulars that are there know that.
Right.
But me going there a couple of times a year, which obviously I hope to change this year, but yeah, I had no idea.
Like
Yeah.
what they carry, that kind of stuff.
That's
Like,
great. Yeah, that's good to know.
Let's see what else got the comment. We got Wayne's comment. One other thing Rob Keister did mention, and I saw it earlier when I got home from work. Division I did lose a pretty great super comp racer today in Dave Stein.
Great guy.
I believe it was an ATV accident.
oh no.
Passed away, yeah.
Yeah, the hits keep coming for, it seems like 2020 is just wanting to extend itself a little longer.
Yep. Yeah, no kidding.
So obviously for the show, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends and everyone that knew him. Also, did you mention the employee at Bradenton?
Yeah, we
Yes,
talked
we
about
did.
that when we first came
Right.
on with all the results.
Yeah, we started right off with that.
And Pete, I didn't know part of that was the gentleman that won the no time class.
I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah, he donated his $5,000 to the
Yeah,
family.
$5,000 you donated to the family. And that, that to me, I'm not saying there's other sports that don't do it. So I'm not going to talk about other sports, but I will tell you that that's one of the reasons why I'll always be proud to be associated with this sport, because that's not just one person doing that. I guarantee you 95% of whoever won that would have done the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's what makes this sport what it is.
Yeah, there is a GoFundMe page as well for that track employee, and they're going to be having a memorial service on Wednesday at Bradenton as well for him.
Would you be able to pin that GoFundMe either on the regular page or the classifieds for like a week? Just have it up at the top.
Absolutely, I will do that as soon as we are done.
Scott said he'll donate.
Scott said he'll donate.
Absolutely.
What a guy! What a pal!
I already did yesterday. They had it up yesterday. It was up to
Did they really?
17,000.
Good.
Yeah, it climbed quickly. I breezed through it, and some of the amounts that some people were giving were quite impressive.
I guess the guy was pretty well inspired. I only raced at Bradenton once, like 150 years ago, but I guess the guy was very well respected, long time member of the track, and it's a
Well,
shame.
Pete, so I was explaining to Chris, because you've never been there, how Bradenton to get from one side to the other for the rigs is at the end of the track.
Correct.
So he was in charge of telling people when they could cross or not.
Right. Maple Grove has kind of the same concept at the end of the track.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah, they have a guy who will tell you, like, if you're both coming at the same time, or if someone's just behind you and you're both turning off, he will tell which one to go and which one to wait to cross over. And yeah, I mean, it's not something that you would ever think would happen, but it happens. It's a shame.
Yeah, it was, like I said, not the way you wanted to kick off 2021.
No, definitely not. And prayers to the gentleman driving the car too.
Paul Major, yeah.
Yeah, was involved, because I'm sure that's equally as heartbreaking, if not more, for him and his family. So it's just a bad deal all the way around. It's a shame.
Yeah. I don't remember who it was, but somebody did post, I believe it was on the Bradenton site, that people have spoken with him, and he's, all things considered, he's doing okay.
Right.
So.
Brutal.
Yep.
Boo
So
boo.
hopefully.
Scotty, did you do your race report yet?
Yes, we did it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was on it.
Oh, it's 8:00. Yeah, well, I'm a part timer now, so this
Well,
goes
Pete,
quite quick.
Well,
you
Pete,
know?
I mean, I'll give a couple of highlights. So Jim Halsey from, he owns Cecil.
Right.
He won Pro Mod.
Did he really?
He went 362 to Todd Tutterow, who runs Pro Mod, and he runs NHRA and PRA.
Yep.
He went 362 to a 361, beat him on a hole shot.
Woo.
Halsey won. It was 13 10,000ths of a second difference.
Wow.
Wow.
Cars that fast aren't supposed to be that close. That's pretty amazing.
Pro 275, Mark Mickey from Mickey Transmissions.
Yep.
M&M Transmissions. He won. He beat Zip Hudson. But Manny Bojinga, a good friend of mine, as you know, he broke the world record on a 275. He went 372 at 202. And he went like 960, 60 foot on a 275.
Scott, is that the slant nose named Fred?
Yeah, there's red one. He's got
Okay,
two.
so that's the one that Jamie works on.
Well, he works on both. He's got an X275 car and he's got a Pro 275 car.
Gotcha.
So Blake Copson, who runs Outlaw 10.5,
Yep.
he drives Manny's X275 car. He went 009 red and lost in the quarters of X, and then Manny, he was sleeping a little bit and he got beat. But in the second round of qualifying, he broke the world record. So that's pretty crazy.
Wow.
And then X275, which I've only been out of that class for 2 years. And when we used to go 440s, that was considered at least in the top 10 of the class at the time. Rob Goss won it. He went 419, 170.
Woo.
And the thing that I was telling Chris is that two of the cars in the semifinals for X275 were two JZ V6s.
Really?
Yeah, so they get a big weight break.
I was going to say they got to get a
They
monster
get a
weight.
monster weight break, but they make huge steam. I mean, in the final, Eric LaFerriere, who's from from Rhode Island, he's a good buddy of mine who tunes up in New England Dragway all the time.
Yep.
He went 004 red against Goss. But if he didn't go red, Goss went 419.5 at 170. LaFerriere went 419.9 at 178.
Wow.
So
they've got, even though it's a big weight break, they've got it figured out where they're still got it really close.
he went 105 60 foot. I mean, with a turbo and in a super. It's a 240 SX with a 2JZ. So it's and then Dave Fiskus, who won Ultra. My engine builder Bobby knows him very well because Dave Fiskus has a Mustang that went 452 at 152 with only a 76 millimeter turbo, and his motor is a Buick V6.
Wow.
It's not an LS. It's not a small block Ford. It's not a small block Chevy. It's a Buick stage V6 motor. So to see that and to see the two JZ cars going, I think that was it's pretty crazy. Like there's a lot of new stuff coming out.
That's one of the things that, to have such a variety in a class.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that keeps it very interesting. That's one of the reasons why NHRA Pro Stock is getting hammered with complaints because it's all Camaros. This year, I'm hearing that there's going to be a lot more variety than there has been in the past, which is great. But when you get a heads-up class like X275 and you have that kind of variety,
right? Well, that's why I like that factory stock class where you have like the Copo Camaros, you have the Challengers, and you have the Mustangs. Right? Yeah. Like that's a cool class. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are starting to get more interested in comp.
Right.
If you look at comp, the numbers from say 5 years ago to now, I definitely think that the class is on the rebound. There's just the numbers are just way better than they have been. And I think variety has a lot to do with it.
Oh yeah, it's like we talked about last week. You have basically, what amounts to a Pro Mod or a Pro Mod without a body on it.
Sure.
You have the old Pro Stock trucks. You have those multi-thousand RPM 4-cylinder dragsters, and that, and also those last year, some of the Hemi guys started dabbling in running Comp Eliminator also.
Right.
Well, that's what Goss runs in his car. He runs a New Edge Hemi. It's a new Hemi.
Oh no, these are the 426 guys. The guys.
The old school Hemi. Okay.
Yeah, the old school Hemis. Yep. There were, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 of them that played around with Comp last year. That might even be a little high of a number, but I remember seeing, that happening. And that was cool to see.
I mean, there was a couple of times, one that I know of for sure, but I think it happened at least twice. Mark Caruso in his NHRA Pro Mod went and did some testing, and he actually entered in Comp and did some testing there and shook it down. I want to say it was in the beginning of the season last year in Florida. But I remember Rich telling me that Caruso was in Comp doing some testing and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, anytime you sit in the bleachers to go watch Comp, you never know what you're going to see.
Yeah, and that's what makes it one of the best classes out there.
Yep.
Even though, like I said, try and talk about the index, and I'll sit here and forget it. I'll draw circles on my forehead with my pen.
Exactly.
My buddy Scott Ullman just said that it's over 20K right now for his family on GoFundMe, not counting what people handed him at the track.
Wow, that's
really
great. Good.
Yep.
Cool.
Good.
Well, that's good to hear. For as much of a tragedy as it was, kicking off the race season, but something good will come out of it.
Yep.
There's always a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I know it sounds cliche, but it is.
said that when I got paralyzed. Everything happens for a reason.
Yep. That's what I was saying last April when I was getting down on myself.
The only reason I got paralyzed was so Pete could feel good about himself being taller than me. But
Sure.
that's all right.
Very good point. And even then, it's still close.
It's so
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's funny.
I told him, I told Pete earlier today when he texted me, he's like, I'm not sure I'm going to be on. He goes, I got to go out and shovel. He goes, I don't think Scott has to worry about it. I said, nah, bring that chair up so he can get out there and
I
push the
could mount
shovel around.
a plow to the front of my wheelchair. The problem is Snow's taller than I am right now. Also, I reached out to a few people about coming on the program. I know we're getting booked out pretty far, but I was going to reach out to like John Sears, who does all the rules for like X275 and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then I spoke to Brent at Fragola about coming on. Just that we were going to have some of the distributors, and then Pete, we were saying you reached out to Moroso, right?
No, I believe Chris reached out to Scott Hall.
Yep. Yeah, I made contact with Scott and he said absolutely, and I got that all set up.
Awesome.
I got Bud McNasby and Lee Zane is coming on to talk about the drag racing classes. That's something that hopefully Tina will tune in because that's something that she's definitely going to want to see.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Bud and Lee do a great job with their weekly 101, and they also hold clinics at certain tracks. And I'm fairly confident that Lebanon Valley is going to be one of them this year, and I will be attending.
Cool. One shout out for the speed shop at Lebanon Valley. KB Performance is the name of it.
Okay.
So, and that's Carol Belviscone. We all know who Carol is. So
Also, Wayne messaged me this week. Lebanon Valley is looking for a flatbed. Doesn't have to be brand specific. Their budget's around $7,500, and it's for the track. So if anyone has any connections, anyone knows of one for sale, Lebanon Valley is looking. So just keep that in mind if you come across it.
Let me or Pete or Chris know. We can reach out to Wayne.
Yep.
just so we're clear, that's a flatbed tow truck.
That is a flatbed, yes, tow truck. So
Yeah, they weren't looking for a tubbed out flatbed.
put the bed down and winch up a broken car onto it. Something along those lines.
I just wanted to make sure because somebody will ask.
Yeah, not a wheel stander. No, nothing crazy like that.
No hell on wheels.
No.
Yeah, no.
Engine in the back of the truck.
There you go. All right, guys. So coming up next Monday, we're going to have Brian Connery, Division I top sportsman racer, with a beautiful, I think his car is a 63. Is that right, Pete? Do you know?
Yeah, is that the copper colors?
Yeah, copper, bronzy colored one.
Yep.
Yeah, gorgeous car. Wicked nice guy. School teacher down in Jersey. He's going to come on and hang out with us. And then Scott, what I'll do is I will send you dates and talk to your people, and we'll go from there. Just let me know and I'll pencil them in.
Sounds good, sir.
Cool. All right, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy Street Outlaws.
See y'all later. Bye, guys.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Later.
See ya.
See ya.